kind of tutorials that are more interactive. So I would be very happy if people answer who has experience in Tableau, who has done some previous work on Tableau. And you can also unmute yourself. You want to?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, yeah, I've done some work with Tableau, I think around July, but not really like that solid. So like today now, I've gone over some other concepts. I'm learning another course just to solidify my knowledge. Yeah, I've done some stuff with Tableau, but I didn't quite understand it then. So, but at least I have little experience with Tableau around July before the
Okay.
pre-assessment training and then before this training.
Great. Anyone else? For the people who just joined, Victoria, so the question is who has previous experience with Tableau or similar? Stephanie, can you tell us?
Yes, so I built a COVID-19 dashboard, like yeah, around July also. So yeah, I also took a tutorial. Well, I can't say that I'm that good. I'm also just trying to learn and get more experience.
Yeah, I have seen your dashboard and it's really great. So could you tell us like what are the lessons you learned during that? Because you have basically everything from map to things. So could you tell us your experience?
Well,
And you can also share, or I mean, if you just share the link, I can actually just also share.
Okay, let me just talk first and then I can share the
link. Yeah, it's okay. I think
So for the COVID-19 dashboard, I just looked at different tutorials. I learned how to join the sheets, to combine them into a workbook, and how to make a dashboard. So what I learned is just planning to do one thing at a particular time, like one sheet, just do one visualization for one sheet, and then after that you can combine all that into one workbook, which really worked for me.
Yeah. So which one should I project, the first or the second?
The second one was better.
So this is what she does. So yep. So is it automatically being updated every time?
It was to be updated, but my source was I linked it to a Google Sheets, which will extract from that. But I had an email that there was some error, so I'll try fix that.
Yeah.
But it used to work.
Great. So that means she has experience, just for anyone else, that she has experience in building a dashboard using Tableau. That's one thing. And if you have any question, it would be good to ask her now, even just if anyone wants to see, to learn any question other than the questions that I asked.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, can you just give us like a basic overview of what you do when you see the data? Like, do you sketch the dashboard you want to do before you start building? And also, you have some figures on your dashboard, like you can see 12 million total cases and 568,000 something. Then how do you go about those stocks? And wow, it's actually a good dashboard. So can you just give us like the summary of what you do and how you're able to do something like this? Thank you.
So I'm not really good at explaining, but let me try my best. So what I basically did was what I just wrote down what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to look at the top cases by country. I wanted to look at the death by country. I wanted to look at the daily case count. So all this are just like top case by country is something that I did on one sheet. So these are just for one, like top cases by country. I did it on one sheet. Daily case count I did it on another sheet. Cases by country did. So afterwards, that's when I combined it into that whole dashboard. So that's what I'd advise you to do. Like for our particular challenge, like just look at how has housing distribution is, how's the distribution for the housing, and just do it on one sheet. Make your visualization there, save it, and then go to another one. And then afterwards, you can look at what really gives more insights, and then add it to your workbook. I don't know if that kind of answers it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So there are other things that maybe I can, when you're free, we can build this together from scratch. So if anyone is interested, you can just DM me and we can, if you're free, we can build it all together. It's quite simple. It's really simple.
Yeah.
It won't take us more than 1 hour, 30 minutes. So yeah.
I think that would be great. And one reason why I want like that is because it's profile. And in the job market, actually, these are things that you can demonstrate. So there will be this week, for example, I will send a proof of knowledge kind of where you just upload or link for us to build your radar plots, like in house skill distributions, and having this kind of dashboards here and there, GitHub things, GitHub pages, whatever is useful. So it's good to, normally after you are in a job, you may not need it much, but while you are hunting for a good job, normal job, it's also okay. But for a good job, this kind of having dashboards here and there, contributed code here and there in some other packages. Like for example, if you just commented, opened issue in Twitter in GitHub, or these are all elements that shows. So that would be great to build, for example, for your country. This week you will have all the necessary skills. It's just about the data. From the data we know last week how to get it. So you could really convert what you build on week something 4 or whatever, you could build it also into a dashboard. So I think that's really great. So that's good to just, I know you don't have time, but this is easy. As she said, it's just a matter of thinking, and that would be great. So who else has another experience? Yeah, Rofia is interested. Definitely Rofia and Stephanie get together, and just would be nice just to have internal, build together a dashboard, either for this one or for that one, kind of would be very useful. Who else has experience? And Stephanie, maybe I will ask you later also, what are the main concepts that you struggled to understand and was important when you understand them, so that other people can benefit from that? So, but who else has other experience with Tableau? Or if Microsoft Pi as well. So it's like, what is it? I think they are very similar in some way. So who could tell us a little bit about this? Or anyone can just say, like, what do you think, if you have just tried it a little bit so far, what is the important concepts from that you have to understand when you open it and when you see the dash? I'm going to share again another. I think that's activity, that's Tableau. So here is, for example, our data. This is just a Tableau dashboard. I mean, Tableau desktop, sorry. And here is the data source I just downloaded. So anyone to replace me? I really just, for some reason, I prefer to hear today you guys talking and trying to explain, and then
Should I try?
Yeah.
Okay, basically, from my little knowledge, if you open the data, I think first of all you need to know the different attributes, basically categorical or numerical data, and also how to change them, because sometimes Tableau can just load the data as categorical, whereas it is numerical, and sometimes it might load it as a data type, whereas it's not data. But I think one thing I find challenging, which I'm still trying to overcome, is how to do calculations in Tableau, all those many
How to do
calculations.
what?
How to do calculations.
Uh, so
Yeah,
there.
so
Okay, anyone can try to tell us calculations, how to do calculations.
I can have.
Yeah. Go on, Stephanie.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. That would be even awesome.
Okay, just a minute. Can you guys see?
no.
Mm,
It's coming now, but it's still dark black one.
my laptop.
Maybe just do it again. Share it again.
Let me share it again. Can you see my screen now?
It probably will come, but not. Maybe I will switch off. Now it comes here exactly. I'll switch off. Yeah, great.
So can you see the Tableau part?
Yes, now we do.
Okay, so I've already loaded mine. So I have all the rows here. As you can see the features, there's the day of week, there's the default, there's duration, all that. Now if you want to create a new field, just basically click that and then click create calculated field. So you can call it I don't know what you wanted to calculate, but maybe just go I don't have in mind what I can calculate, but let me just give you a rough overview of what I have done or I will do, just approaching anything. So for this particular challenge, you're supposed to get visualizations. As I was saying, one thing that you could do is just create sheets for particular visualizations. So like for education, what you do is, let me just remove this. It's basically drag and drop. So like for education, I was just doing for education. So the rows will be education, and then um, for this, you can just click on this drop down and you can see how to the measure that you want. For like mine, I want to see how the education is distributed. Just click count. And also you can see on the side there's this visualizations. So you can decide which one you want to use. Do I want to use a box plot? Do I want to use a stacked bar? Depending on what you want. Do I want to use a tree map? I want to use a pie chart. So it's just basically that. Just come click one, like job. First you need to remove this one, and then like job, and then you want to see maybe for job what do you want to see? Do you want to see the sum, the count, the minimum, the maximum? So I can just go to a box plot, horizontal bar. So that's how you go about all that. It's just basically drag and drop, and then just knowing for the rows what you want displayed here what you want displayed there. So yeah, that's basically it.
Great. Any question? Thank you so much. Just keep it there so that I like that. I like that's exactly what we follow. It's called a flipped classroom. So anyone, any question?
Hello. Hello.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Can you just allow Stephanie?
Yeah, go on.
If I don't know if she's free now, maybe basically the other chat that she showed us, I don't know if she can use this session to just build it from scratch. I don't know if it will take her a lot of time and if she's actually free. So I can just use this session to actually build the kind of chat that she built earlier. But she was saying maybe if you have time, we can do something like this. I don't know if we can use this session to do that. I don't know if we have a permission.
Stephanie, would you be willing to do that now?
Right now,
Yes, I don't know.
I just
Okay, but
need to.
that's not a problem. Maybe once I
Later
do
in
it.
the evening. I can do it later in the evening.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think it's good to just prepare. Maybe she needs to find
Yeah.
where the data is, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have it, you can just open and show, just like not build it. But if you have already the file, but that's one
Yeah,
thing.
basically what you did, something like that. So you can
You
just
watch.
open the file.
The workbook. I can
Yeah.
share the workbook. I can share it on Slack. The workbook.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing you could just look at it, but yeah, like you can work. Okay, great. Any question? Because for me now, I'm not going to answer anything until I'm asked, or like, you know, so it's good. I know that it's a tutorial, I should just say, but I feel this is easy, that there's no need for a tutorial, and some of the tutorials are already given in the videos, so you could watch them. So what are the things that, you know, if you haven't watched them, you can ask any question. So it would be nice just to ask anything so that we can start a discussion. And I will just to give you a very, very important, I think I said it last time as well, the most important thing to know in Tableau probably is what is a measure. So this is basically like whenever you look at this thing, so this ABC is a, you know, it's just telling you, okay, this is a string, and this one's green, like there is color coding. So the color coding blue and green, and there are, I would say, 4 things to know. So a parameter can be continuous or discrete. And a parameter could be, or a feature could be, as I said, continuous or discrete, or it can be a measure or a dimension. These are the most important concepts to know. Just so if you are looking at a Tableau and to understand, you must understand these concepts clearly. What does it mean when a dimension becomes, so these are 4 you can couple together. So it can be something, can be a dimension and a continuous. Someone can be a dimension and a discrete. And another thing would be a dimension can be a measure and discrete, can be a measure and continuous. So these are basically what groups data types, right? The type of data types. So but for Tableau, it really means a lot. It tells it what kind of visualizations. So the show me thing, whenever you control click, I think when you control and then when I do this, that's because I am in not. So control, and then I do this. So it can tell me what are possible ones. So for example, if I do this, it tells me the best is to visualize it with kind of bar chart, right? So if I do, for example, that, and then it tells me like, oh, you know, these are the possible, like the ones that are active are the possible choices. And the one with the red box are the kind of, so it kind of suggests you what kind of visualization would be good. You know, so it's like, let's say it's the months, and if I do number of employers, why is it always? Yeah. So in this case, for example, age and number of employer, it suggests, you know, I could choose this, that, but the kind of appropriate for this one, it kind of thinks will be this one. So this is a good suggestion. So before even you plot, you can actually, then if I add, for example, education, again, it's this one, but what about if I do housing? Then you kind of like see what are the possible combinations, and also it tells you what. So for example, if I don't select anything, just let's say, then I can actually just go and look at like, okay, can I not select? Yeah. So I can see if I want a plot of this form, what do I need? So it needs, the first thing it needs is that, okay, so here, just like if you look at the 4 tree maps, try one or more dimension and 1 or 2 measure. Okay, so that's how you would like, if you want that kind of plot, you could also just know what you need and then go and select from that. Okay, so measure and dimension, continuous and discrete are the important elements to understand, because once you master that, then everything is fine. And whatever you have color change, like change in the size, change in the text in the label, and some kind of in the tooltip you need to do, all these are kind of in the details. I mean, in this part of and you can also choose some things that are not there in the show me bar. You can also get some things here. But these are like, and then filters, if you want to introduce filters, you can just add the column, just drag it here, and stuff. And if you want to, so these are with dashboard, when you build dashboard. So here, if you look at it, this is new worksheet, this one is a new dashboard, and this one is new story. Story combines plots, texts, whatever, and dashboards. A dashboard combines plots and texts. So stories, basically, you can really write a bigger thing into just one story. So you can compose basically a story from text and plots and stuff. So that's one is the basic. So any question from
Yeah, we have a question.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm dragging you back. So like
No,
when I
it's
saw
good to
the
drag back. Yeah.
so when I saw the whole challenge and all, the first thing that came to my mind, oh, we're going to do exploratory data analysis. But I was like, okay, I was going to do it on Jupyter Notebooks and then push it to Tableau, because I've never used Tableau before. But now seeing all this and seeing what Stephanie did, is it that we just load the data set on Tableau and then we just do everything there? The whole
The first
exploratory data analysis.
the first 2 days, yeah. So it's like the first until tomorrow in trim. That's what you do, all the analysis exploration, yes. But then from Wednesday, I still would say keep just that, but you're gonna do the pre-processing part in Python, in Jupyter Notebook. So the pre-processing requires that you drop this, you drop that, you kind of impute the fields and stuff like that. In that case, you will do it in Jupyter Notebook. So this one is very good only to kind of, so there is prep, Tableau prep, that they are building to do the pre-processing. So I can show you what it's Tableau prep. So that is basically their response, but I would say it's not still as powerful. I mean, you still need time, and it's much easier to do some of those things probably in Python still, but definitely the Tableau is thinking about really making pre-processing whatever easy in just, yeah, they have like the pre-processing builder, and then the desktop, which then you can visualize. So I don't know if you don't see, I don't think you see. So let me Tableau book prep. So here, for example, so I had this recent flows, so this was the one that if I do that, so this was the one that you were looking, the store data, like the last week's data, right? So last week we had test, store, and train. So what you could do is that, okay, you load all of them just from file, and then you can put clean, and clean involves a lot of things. Like it's basically just it does missing values, it fills missing values, blah blah, and then I have also I load store and I cleaned it, and that's basically in all. There are many things that I will do, transformations, distance to be like 1 or not. You know, I can basically choose here many things like a lot of rename fields, whatever. I mean, like I can do a lot of transformation, and then I can add even more. Like I can aggregate, pivot, join, union. Like I can script it to actually also do some Python scripting in that cleaning phase, for example. And then so after that it will output. So, and then the store is the same, the train the same. And what I do that, and then I will join test and store. So with this join, and then I can also choose what type of union or join I put, and then I will finally put it as an output. So this basically the joined part. This is what the pre-processing is doing, and it can have a multiple complicated flow, right? So, and the same I did for the train. Here is a store. I did exactly the same cleaning, and then I join train and store, and I get an output. Okay, and then this one I can save it to many things. It's like I can save it here and there, or I can directly, even here before saving, I can actually here I can actually see it in preview in Tableau desktop to just even explore this cleaning process. So that's the kind of the pre-processing part of the pre-process of Tableau that you could do, that you can use. But as okay, so
yeah, thank you so much, Abby.
no problem. I'm just gonna why can't I? Yep. Tableau. Yeah, so again, I don't think it's sharing.
I think I have a question as well.
Okay, I will just let me finish this one. I just want to share. So this was what I did, right? But you could also just like, they have this to see how complicated you can make it. You know, you can make remove nulls, fix data types, rename states, you know, kind of like from the different sheets, you can do some kind of orders, returns. So you can do complicated flows. But the good thing about these flows is that when the data is actually coming, this flow can just keep running. Like a new data coming, this thing flows it and then saves it, and suddenly this one can be then visualized in. So that's what Tableau wants as a whole ecosystem. You can do a lot more of like this kind of cleaning whatever stage. Yeah, like, so that's the Tableau prep. You don't need to do it. I mean, for this tutorial, this is more for visualization we are using it, but Tableau has more power as well, just in the future. So that's just to show. Okay, now go on.
Yeah, so I think I would ask 2 questions.
Thanks, Abby.
The first one is, instead of using the prep builder to process the data, I figured when I was learning recently, I was watching some of the videos you recommended for the Tableau. So can we actually use, I think we can actually use the Tableau to do some editing of the data as well.
Sure.
Can we just use that without using the prep at all?
Sure. No. I mean, its prep was taken out from desktop because they wanted to do more powerful on it. But yeah, Tableau desktop has already built in some pre-processing.
Okay, and also I went checking through the challenge materials. I saw that we have to do some visualization using Seaborn and Matplotlib. So is there a way we could actually connect the visualization we are using the
I'm not sure. I didn't ask that. It's just more later. But the Seaborn, maybe if there is, then it's be a mistake. That, I mean, all the things that you need to do is just here. Like for the first part. So I'm just gonna share my. Sorry. I know your question, but I'm just gonna make sure that the description.
But the challenge aside, is this something that is possible to link?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, matplotlib, and so you don't need. I mean, I didn't try it, so I don't think. But you can connect Python and Tableau, right? So that's what's called TabPy. So TabPy just is an engine that would just run, and then you can give basically, like, if you want to use scikit and the output of scikit to be visualized, yeah, you can use it. So it's possible to do complicated Python functions run in Tableau.
You said tab 5?
TabPy. So it's just TAB Pi. So, and the only thing, you cannot use that with the Tableau public, but you can use that with Tableau desktop. So you can definitely, yeah, your machine learning, whatever, you can connect and visualize with Tableau.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Okay, what else has there been? So as I said, the main things to understand and to know is that what a dimension does, what a continuous and yeah. So what a continuous and discrete variables are doing, it's like usually discrete, like if I, like, let's say just I'm gonna, in this case, months. So if I want just the months to be the rows, and if I want to, so there's the campaign. So that basically, by converting them, it gets some kind of, the because, so you can see like months in this case is blue, and usually blue is discrete, or it's, I mean, you can just click at it, it just shows, no, it's a dimension. So the color,
can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't?
Yep. From my end.
Sorry. So I was saying, like, so if I choose a month, for example, as a row, and of course now I can get the table only. Whenever you put just one, you can get only a table. But then if I want to just plot this one, for example, now with campaign, and then I get this form, right? So this kind of, as Stephanie was saying, like, like you get a really nice looking bar chart, or no, like a horizontal bar, right? And then I can add, if I want, for example, loan to be part of a color, I can just add the loan in the color, and then you can see just the kind of the numbers that are with the loan. And I don't know if I, like I can just actually just go into the color, edit color, for example, or if I can just, the transparency, I can make it like that, it's like that's whatever. But I can change also the color code to be, let's say, just that, and so I can do it more. So let me change to brown, and then I can assign this palette, and then I can do that, and then it changes the color. So I can really design whatever the color part. And if I was just, instead of months, I was just number of employers, for example, and I would just remove that. And so right now, for example, it doesn't show me if they both are now, in this case, dimensions. I mean, so this is continuous and one is measure, and this is also a measure and continuous. So when that happens, usually, like, it doesn't like it, and you will actually have to change one of them into dimension to plot some form of, like, if you look at this, so that's what is being plotted, right? But it's aggregated. That's the reason why you always see some whatever in the dimensions, that it will, because it's designed to be for bigger data. It always assumes that there should be some kind of aggregation on the data. So whenever it's a dimension, it will do some kind of aggregation. And that aggregation, as Stephanie was saying, you can change it into sum, count, for example. Like, again, I would just change this count by count to count, and you see just some kind of change in nothing. So whenever you have green, these are measure, like the measures. It's basically saying it's a measure, means you need to, you can do operation on it, some kind of, and that's why always it will always come with some kind of operation, either a count operation or a sum operation, average operation. The reason is because if you had like billions of rows, then it should really be able to do that. And visualization, this is called a view. The view should just be only showing the kind of not the raw data, but some kind of compressed sampled data. And but while that sampling happens by that operators, that's why always there's no measure that's shown in Tableau without this thing. So, but if I want to just say number of employees to be a dimension, or let's say campaign to be a dimension, then I can change just from measure to dimension. And that is where really you start seeing a very nice property of the plot. Before you were not able to see it, but now by changing one to be a dimension, then it kind of becomes like a way to show within that dimension you are measuring. So experiments, usually you will set up a measure, and within those, in an experiment you put an axis. It could be a time axis, it could be whatever axis, and then along those lines you kind of get measure data. That's what it's the model of Tableau. So understanding these dimensions, within dimensions are axes that you are measuring from, and then measures are what is the value that is sampled. So it's like if it's temperature, so the axis, for example, a horizontal line could be just a dimension. So the distance becomes a dimension, and the value of the temperature at that point becomes a kind of measure. So that's, and in that way you can really get a very nice concept. So if you want to then do this thing per month, like for example, if I put it as the columns, then it should be just dividing for each month. You'll be able to see, like, the kind of, so it kind of divides the plots per month, and you'll be able to see the change. Okay, so it's like yeah. So I think that's when you experiment, you really realize, you will start seeing what are, like, if I just convert now months to be instead of a dimension, I mean, so I think it can only be a dimension, but let me, what should I do? Like, yeah, I think that's fine for now. Yeah.
Also, I think I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, okay, let's say we've gotten some set of visualization, maybe like 10 of it. Then we now want to convert it to a dashboard, and we've done that using the icon down there. So when I was watching some of the videos you recommended, I discovered that we could publish it online.
Yeah.
So that means we have sort of a link we can share with others. But
Yeah.
what if we want to have the dashboard in form of something I would have stored on my system? I would just send it to somebody, like, I think somebody, like it was Jane Dijon, he shared something like that with us during the pre-assessment stage.
Yeah.
So for Power BI, I think is something like that possible for
Yeah. With the desktop, that's what she's gonna share, Stephanie. It's called workbook.
So how can I create that using the?
I think with the desktop, you basically just, you'll just save it up. You'll save it.
Okay, just save it up.
Yeah, workbook locally. I mean, like just you save it and then you share it, or you can. I mean, you can export it in different ways. So,
okay,
but yeah, I think you can just share the workbook.
So with the desktop now, we could either save it as the dashboard on our local storage, or now can we also publish it online like the normal one?
Yeah, you can. Basically, almost all you will have a link, so you can basically embed them. So once you get that, you can post it like in your Medium. In your Medium post, you should just use the one embed. You embed them.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Any question? I assume everything is clear if you don't ask. So, or either you have to ask here or you have to ask in Slack if something is not clear. Try it, and these are good things to just be to put in your CV as advanced. Just keep trying, playing around, build dashboard, and label yourself advanced, because it's nothing. It's not really that big. I mean, it has details in it. But once you do it, then basically you start creating lots of dashboards. Whatever you plan, whatever you have been working, you're thinking, you can suddenly start sharing dashboards. You just start sharing, like in Twitter, whatever. So that's called profile building. You start really becoming, this allows you a voice to give, to show what you are able to do. Usually, when you don't know those kind of things, you may have a lot of talent, but you don't know how to show them, because it takes time to build your own dashboard. It takes time to do. But with this thing, you basically fly over. You do some cool data analysis, you put it, and then you just share it in Twitter or just embed it here and there. And people start picking up, and then your name, your profile suddenly becomes better and better. So it's good to set a target for yourself, like, okay, almost all the time, I'm going to use Tableau to just do some things, build dashboards, stories for whatever stories I want, and then I'm going to label myself advanced in 2-3 weeks, and then then you have it as a profile. Okay, hopefully that was useful. If there is no question, we can stop with that. And yeah, if you have any questions, talk to Stephanie as well, and you can together build the dashboard that she showed. Great.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I would like to ask Stephanie when she will be free to organize her training or tutorial. But I think the profile is she wants to also learn. I think it would be better if Stephanie can just announce the time she'll be free to organize like a free tutorial for every one of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still around. Stephanie?
Yes,
Hello?
I'm still around.
Stephanie, don't make it free. I'll be your accountant.
Please, I'll be my accountant.
Yeah, talk to my manager.
Can we do it tomorrow morning, because I have to look at the source, because there was some issue with the source that start updating, and I also have to review the whole dashboard. Can we do it tomorrow morning?
Okay, just post the time on the Slack group. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
A lot of people are
that.
offering you as a manager, so you start charging.
So I'll do that one, and then I'll just touch on every aspect. So I'll just learn some new things also, and just teach you guys tomorrow morning.
And Rofia,
Okay.
you asked a question, sorry, about pre-processing in Tableau. You don't need to do pre-processing for this challenge. So just, for this challenge, what's really required is just that you do the visualizations asked and kind of explore and be creative and create some kind of dashboard that you would link for the interview submission, but nothing more. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. And Abla is here. Abla is going to share some of the tips and tricks, that references that she has been collecting. So Abla, where are you? Did you already share them, or how are you going to do that?
Hello, I'll be sharing them on Slack. So
great. Yeah.
thanks.
Awesome. So with that, let's conclude today's tutorial, and I'm gonna stop recording, but any question, let's ask them in Slack. Cheers, guys.